There was a question that was asked, are you guys going to continue singing other people's songs, or are you going to sing originals?
So as FAIVA, it's been intentional to do both, right? To sing covers. And the reason why we want to sing covers is because we want to keep those stories alive, right? Keep those melodies around, especially very meaningful ones to us, as musicians. And then we also want to write our own songs, and we have, right? So our first album, FAIVA Samo, was about half and half. We did half covers, half originals. And with our originals, we're adding new perspectives from our own experiences, but also trying, at least for me personally, when I write songs, try to write from that same indigenous perspective writing styles, like in the same vein as these older groups that we were talking about. Right. So we have songs like Ia Vivia, Se Leva, Bo Mama Lama, which are all originals. Yes. Lemutia, right? And Lemutia is another original. Those are about half of the originals. And then we have another half on our album that are covers. Right. And that's sort of the formula that we've been following. And I think we'll continue to follow.
And to answer that question, we are definitely still going to do covers of songs. Right. Especially because there are a lot of Samoan music that aren't usually covered. Like, we know of all the typical songs that people usually pick to have their own renditions, but there are countless other Samoan songs that are barely ever touched on.
Yeah. And if we don't sing them, they might be forgotten.
Those are
we're
some of the songs
our oral traditions
that we would like to bring to the forefront and like, hey, like,
remember this
song? It's,
And I would say
like
that
those deep cuts,
right? And I would say that when we do covers, it's not to copy any other group; it's to pay tribute to them. It's like an ode to those pioneers of Samoan music, right? Exactly. And in Polynesia, like the one of the greatest sort of flatteries that you could have as a musician is people playing your song or using your melody over and over and over again. That's a sign of flattery. And in Polynesian music, songs are sort of belong to all of us in a way, right? We don't have this concept of ownership, copyright. Not saying that those things aren't useful, sort of how from the Samoan perspective, right? So that me singing Vaia's song is not me copying Vaia, it's me paying tribute to him and basically complimenting him. That I like your song is so good that I want to sing it, right? The worst sort of insult is to never want to use the song.
I don't like the song. I don't ever want to copy it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, wow, nobody even cares. They're not even like using their song for my Siva, or they're using the song that they're playing in their band, right? And so for us, that's how we look at it, is that these are our ways of paying tribute and paying compliment to those that came before us.
My dad feels the same way. Like, oh, when are you going to cover this song? To me, like, and when I do, I'm like, oh, thank God, because I thought somebody was never going to cover this song, especially my own kids.
Right.
And always making sure to do right by them, to give the credit. And,
exactly.
And if we don't, if we can't find the actual person that wrote it, then we'll just
we welcome them to come and claim it.
We won't claim it.
Never. Yeah. We would try our best to put out. Who wrote the song, or to our best knowledge. And we do that, our due diligence, to make sure that we do our research to give credit to where credit is due, because we think that's important, important, and there are ways, right, Tini, and like, so the business aspect of it, so where when you produce or cover a song that's not yours, right, you can officially give them credit on these platforms where they will get their royalties. That for our plays and for our covers and stuff, right?
Now, this was an issue maybe about 10, 20 years ago when Samoa had no copyright laws, and now there is, right? So, for instance, like, I know there might be groups out there. My dad felt the same way, like, oh my gosh, this person covered my song, like, I'm not getting anything out of it, right? But that was like the thought back then. Now, if I was a songwriter, I would love somebody popular to sing my song, because if they make money, like, that means I'm going to make money, right? So just know that if it's a cover that we produce and we publish it, you have to go to a company like that we're under, like ASCAP. They're a performing rights organization, and then they make sure they distribute all those royalties to the proper channels, all the songwriters, whoever the labels it belongs to. So, like, if you're not very familiar with that, call us, or we will help guide you in claiming those royalties.
Because you just basically have to register that on.
You have to register
on that BMI.
Yes, BMI or ASCAP. There are other performing rights organizations. That's their job. And when we put a song online, we make sure, like, okay, that's the name of the person that wrote it. So now
they'll get their royalties.
They'll get their royalties, but they need to come and get it.
And from what I've seen, most of the Samoan artists that are covering other people's songs do give credit to those groups that did originally write them,
Yes.
right? At least recently I've seen that everybody does do that. And so now in this day and age with this new system, when they go to release those songs, there's an official way to sort of denote, right? To record that this is, say, Jerome Gray's song,
Yes.
right? And so from there on, because Jerome Gray's registered,
Yes.
he'll automatically get royalties from all the plays that happen, say, on Apple Music or Spotify, right?
I encourage our Samoan families who have families that wrote songs before to register their songs in organizations.